Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The international break is over, and I'm out. I'm out of focus. Oh God. Well, bugger it. We'll plough on regardless. We shall plough on regardless. The international break is over. Let's turn my printer off. The international break is done. Don't see it again for another 4 months. Thank the heavens. And yeah, we're here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got a bumper month of football in store for you between now and the turn of the year on the 1st of December. We've got Swansea, we've got Rotherham, we've got Watford, QPR, Middlesbrough, Cardiff, Bristol City straight after that. There's no midweek game. Sunderland on Boxing Day, Blackburn, and Sheffield Wednesday. 10 games in just over a month. And then a couple of days after Sheffield Wednesday, we've got the FA Cup as well. We don't know who that's going to be yet. I hope it's either someone really little away who we can batter or a top-end Premier League side. I don't want to go out to someone like Fulham or Everton like we have done the last 2 years. No, I don't fancy that. If I want to go out in the third round, I want to go out to Man United or Man City or Liverpool and have a trip to Old Trafford, the Etihad or Anfield. Something like that. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Anyway, let's have a look at chat. Now I'm back in focus. Shocks, how you doing? Jensen, how you doing? Craig, thank God the international break was over. Agreed, England were dreadful. Jeff, how you doing? Owen, I assume that's meant to say how's you, in which case, I'm great. Gallagher, how we doing? Mehmet, good evening. Auto-generated user, you have missed nothing. Ashley, how you doing? The international break felt like for me it dragged. I will be going Leeds away, Gallagher. I was going to bunk Connors to go to Bristol, but we got the day off. I've also got the day off. York, if they beat Wigan, would be a quality tie. A lot of ex-City players there. Dan Batty, Dave Stockdale, Rory Watson, Ryan Fallowfield. Yeah. Who else have they got? Dan Batty there. Ollie Green there on loan at the moment would be quality. Pain. At least you've got Eves, Leo. At least you've got Eves. Right, should we get stuck into it straight away then? Aaron Connolly and Jason Lakilo are both fit to feature against Swansea. Adama Traore is rated touch and go by Liam Rosenior. Regan Slater is around a week away from a return from a hamstring injury. Tyler Morton, Jaden Philogene, Liam Delat and John Michael Seri all represented their respective nations over the break, and they are all absolutely fine. They've all come back unscathed, and Jokan Sinek is the only other absentee. Cool. Ref watch. It's not good. It's Dean Whiteston. 2 linos are Dan Leach and Robert Merchant. 4th official is Scotty Oldham. Let's rattle through a bit more of this quickly before we look at chat. I see we've got some messages waiting, but we'll look at stats from Huddersfield first. That possession, those shots, they just crowded the box and we couldn't break through until the 92nd minute. But when we did, it felt so good. So good. Love it. Yes, I am on the beers tonight. Saw Ferriby battered last week, but didn't they also beat Hornsey 9-0 in the Cup? Which, by the way, City forfeited. It was meant to be the academy playing Pocklington, but we just decided we couldn't be asked. So forfeited it was. All right. Nice. Cheers. I wouldn't have gone anyway because I was throwing up the day before. I was really, really ill over the international break. Really, really ill. But it came at a good time. And we are back now, ladies and gents. Yeah, Jeff, thank you for confirming it was Haunted 9-0. Probably still Ollie Green because he'll get a loan extension. That wouldn't surprise me either. Dave Stockdale, yeah. Newcastle away would be quality. Should have beaten Huddersfield 5-0. Feel like we're going to do that against Rotherham. Rotherham will be a very similar game to Huddersfield, I fear. But hopefully we've learned from that experience. But we kept plugging away and we kept plugging away until we got the goal. And that's cool. That's cool. And Gallagher, thank you so much, mate. He never thought he could miss a live stream so much. Well, let's keep cracking through this live stream, shall we? Swansea, looking at their squad. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment, I do believe. So in the last game, Carl Rushworth was in goal. Their back four was Harrison Ashby, in on loan from Newcastle now, I believe he is. Formerly on loan from, formerly of West Ham. Formerly linked to Hull City. Former Tiger Josh Tymon at left back. Two centre-backs were Harry Darling and Bashir Humphreys. Is Bashir Humphreys on loan from Chelsea or is it Man City he's on loan from? I think it's Chelsea, isn't it? Yeah, it's Chelsea. In their midfield, Jay Fulton and the skipper Matt Grimes, with just in front of them in an attacking capacity, they had Liam Cullen, who we've been linked with, but Liam Rossini has rubbished those links. Jamie Patterson and Jamal Lowe as the three behind striker Jerry Yates. So that, obviously on the bench, was former Tiger Liam Walsh. No Charlie Patino through injury, no Joe Allen through injury as well, I believe. Same for Ben Cabango. Andy Fisher was their number one last season. He was on the bench. It's an injury-hit squad, but it's still a very, very solid team. And it's a team that, if we look for them in the table, has had a difficult start, but they're making progress compared to where they were. We'll look at the table in just a second, but we've got, of course, current form to look through first. And you know what? We'll have a glance at chat first, shall we? I'll have a glance at chat. Swansea squad very thin at the minute. It is very, very thin. With injuries and stuff. Loves a goal against us, does Jerry. Not wrong. Hopefully Rotherham's like Rotherham away last season. That was a brilliant away day. That was absolutely superb. And who's taking over at Rotherham? Matty Taylor sacked at the start of the international break. I'm not really too sure who they've been linked with, to be honest with you. There was talk initially of Neil Warnock going in there. Apparently, caretaker manager, what's his name? Wayne. What's his name? Wayne Summit wants the job permanently. They've said they're going to back the new man in January. Just reading here, Gary Rowett and Liam Richardson, once of Wigan, have met the criteria. This is of 2 days ago, this article from the Rotherham Advertiser. Richardson is believed to be in Rotherham's thinking, but he and Rowett are far from the only figures on their radar. Wayne Carlisle is in interim control, that's it. Neil Warnock, Chris Wilder and John Eustace are waiting for opportunities elsewhere, and former Luton Town manager Nathan Jones is thought to fall into that category too. Their chairman admitted it was a difficult decision to end the 13-month reign of Taylor, who kept the Millers in the Championship last season, but paid the price for a woeful away record this term of just 1 point from a possible 24. He said, is it Tony Stewart? Is it Tony Stewart? Yeah, it's Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart said, and I quote here, "It was tough because he's a bright individual and he worked really hard. His planning was superb. I'm pleased we have done something that will bring about change. Interesting. And they do, of course, play tonight, Rotherham. Cullen's missing as he's suspended. Interesting. Auto-generated user wouldn't mind Cullen. Speaking of January, it came out today that we look set to go in for Max Bird again, which for me is a very, very smart move, because you may think, where would he fit in? Seri, Morton, Slater, Doherty. More advanced, you're looking at Traore, Tufan, Twine. But you've got to think, chances are in January, if they're both fit, we lose Seri and Traore to AFCON. We lose them for a month, 2 months-ish. Get Bird in straight away. We've already replaced Tyler Morton when he goes back to Liverpool from his loan, in terms of depth anyway. Maybe not quality, but we'll see what Bird has to offer. And equally, we also cover Seri for the month and a bit he's missing at AFCON. I also think we'll go in for a winger. I can see Aliyah leaving. I can see Cynic leaving if he's back from injury. Harry Vaughan going out on loan, maybe. So maybe we'll go back in for Jess Raksaki if Crystal Palace are willing to let him go. But will they? I think he's also just gone down with an injury to his hamstring. So we'll watch that space, really. But we were this close to getting him on deadline day. So maybe we'll go back in, depending on his fitness and depending on Crystal Palace as well. No, I'm referring to the end of the season. Morton is here for the season, but I'm referring moving into next season, where it's unlikely, Owen, that we keep him. Yeah, thought so. JRS has done his hamstring, but he's back around Christmas, maybe. So, could be possible. Cynic has gone back to Turkey. Yeah, 1 for the language and 2 home comforts as he recovers. But Rossini is getting constant reports on him, and he's doing well. Remember the old guy in the Blackburn books? Oh, yes. What a boy. I think his name was Kev. What a guy. What a guy. It was brilliant, honestly. So, on our bus to Blackburn, right, there was this guy called Kev who was there. And he was absolutely out of his head, doing all just the whole journey there, the whole journey back, whatever. After that win, he starts dividing. Right, no, we'll start on the way there. On the way there, every time someone goes to the loo, he's shouting, "He's been for he's going for a shit, he's going for a shit," stuff like that. Come out, he hasn't washed his hands, he hasn't washed his hands, the dirty bleep word, he's not washed his hands and stuff like that. And on the way back after the win, Connolly's 2 late goals and stuff, the first thing he goes for is trying to divide the coach on Hull FC, Hull KR. He's shouting Red Robin, all sorts. He's shouting at the FC fans, "You haven't even got your own ground. Share ours. You're scrounging West Hull." Stuff like that, honestly, it was quality. And I thought, right, I'd really need the loo here, as we're about an hour in. And he, because someone's taken his seat, he sat. Honestly, right, it's so weird how he was sat. But on the stairs near the coach, he was just sat. He was sat with, yes, fluffy socks. He was just sat like this at the bottom step with his feet up on the step above him the whole journey back, and honestly, it was mental. So I said, "Is it worth going?" Because I tried to go before, but it was just overflowing, and other people's pee was swimming around my feet and stuff like that. Up the socks indeed, AGU. Yeah, so I say, mate, is it worth it? He goes, oh, mate, don't bother. Just see you drinking water. Drink the rest of your water. Get your bottle. Just where you sat. Get your dick out. Piss in the bottle. I was definitely not going to do that, but yeah, boy was a legend. Boy was a legend. Absolutely out of his mind. Doing your ACL, getting out of bed is crazy. Yeah, Cynic. Wow. And this home comforts thing for Cynic is ridiculous. He'll never get used to the UK if he's constantly in Turkey. Well, maybe he's just house hunting for when we sell him in January, perhaps, maybe. I wasn't at Stoke, so I don't know what that chant was. Someone describe it, and Ollie reckons we'll win 1-0 and Philogene will be the goal scorer. Right. Current form, then. Shall we have a little gander at the form? We'll start with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 2 defeats, 3 wins. The 2 defeats coming 1 at home, 1 away. 2-1 to Southampton, 3-1 to West Brom. Those 2 defeats were split by 2 wins, 1 away, 1 at home. 2-0 against Birmingham, 1-0 against Preston. And then last time out, we won 1-0 against Huddersfield and Swansea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defeat to Leicester, defeat to Watford, beat Blackburn, drew 0-0 with Sunderland, and then lost 3-2 to Ipswich. So a pretty mixed bag in terms of Swansea form. And if we look at the league table, they are down in 17th place at the moment. We up in 8th. But the gap isn't that big. That gap's only 7 points. But equally, our gap to the playoffs is only 7 goals. So, we're there or thereabouts. And this was about where I expected us to be. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th-ish at the start of the season, come season's end. So I'd quite happily take an 8th place finish come the end of this season. And it's a great thing to build on for next season. Down at the bottom, Chef Wednesday, 1 win still. QPR with the new manager, Marty Cifuentes. He's had 1 game, drew. Rotherham, under their caretaker boss, Wayne Carlisle. It's going to be his first game, I think. We'll double check that. Yes, it is going to be his first game. And Huddersfield, under Darren Moore, playing uninspiring football and not just outside. Coventry the same. Plymouth have fallen off. Birmingham have fallen off. Wayne Rooney is a dreadful manager. And Norwich have fallen off massively as well in terms of league position. But points, it's only 6 outside the playoffs for them. Looking around the grounds then. 8 o'clock tonight is Rotherham versus Leeds. All of the rest of the games are tomorrow. 1 is at 5:30. The rest are all 3 o'clock kickoffs, and they are the following: Birmingham versus Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea versus us, Stoke versus Blackburn, Preston versus Cardiff, Plymouth versus Sunderland, Norwich versus QPR, Millwall versus Coventry, Leicester versus Watford, Huddersfield versus Southampton, Bristol City versus Middlesbrough, and West Brom versus Ipswich Town is the 5:30 kickoff. Let's have a look at chat before we move on. I don't think Cynic will be back again. Will I watch the Rotherham? I might watch the Rotherham Leeds game. I'm a celeb at 9 though. So hope the Kilo can get through a game without injury. God, I hope so. Huddersfield will go down. Oh, Sean McLaughlin, he went for it. Did he go to the toilet by any chance? Okay. I'd be happy with a draw tomorrow. What are you thinking? Yeah, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with a point, but we've got to be targeting all 3. Leo, yeah, not with your... Oh, Leo, mate. Not with anyone next to me, full stop. Ollie, nice. watching it just for Eves. Oh, what a baller. What a baller that man is. Memorable match. I could have picked the 3-0 from last time, but I didn't. I picked the 4-all from just before COVID. February 2020, Valentine's Day. Leo da Silva Lopez gave us the lead 6 minutes in. 7 minutes later, Wayne Routledge levelled it. We went in at the break, all square. Marcus Maddison scored his one and only goal for Hull City 5 minutes after the break to give us a 2-1 lead. Kyle Norton, 5 minutes later, pulled things back level. 6 minutes after that, Malik Wilkes bagged himself a goal. I believe was his first in black and amber. No, that was at Reading, wasn't it? I stand corrected. His first goal at home in black and amber. It was then made 3-all after about 15 minutes when Jordan Garrick netted. Ryan Brewster in the 84th minute gave Swansea the lead for the first time in the game, and that felt like what would be the win. But Tom Eaves off the bench had something to say about that. McGuinness squared it to him. In, he turned it from close range, and that was a moment that felt like a win. But it wasn't. Our team that day, an injury hit squad that day, was George Long in goal, back four Robin McKenzie, Matthew Pennington, Sean McLaughlin and Callum Elder. Midfield 3 was Jackson Irvine, Leo da Silva Lopez and Dan Batty. Wilkes and Maddison were the wingers, this is wrong, and McGuinness was up top. The bench, Ingram the goalkeeper, Ryan Tafazoli, Kevin Stewart, Tom Eaves, George Honeyman, Stephen Kingsley and Keane Lewis Potter. Wow, that was a game. Tell you what wasn't a game, to that same extent, this one, was it last home game of last season? Yes, it was. And it was dull. We took an early lead. Swansea levelled it just before the break, and it just sort of petered out. Our team that day was Carl Darlow in goal, back four Louis Coyle the skipper, Alfie Jones, Jacob Greaves and Callum Elber. Midfield 3 was Seri Slater and Tufan, or Traore, can't remember which. Syed Manesh and Vaughan were the wingers, and the other one of these two was playing as a false 9. The bench was Ingram, the goalkeeper, Doherty, Ebue, Woods, McLaughlin, Pelkas, and Xavier Simons as well. Liam Rossigna in charge, of course. And then the record. It's a mixed bag, these last 5 here. 3 draws, a win and a defeat. Going back to that 4-all loss we just spoke about. That was then followed after our relegation, then promotion, by a 0-0 draw. In what was one of our first games back in the league. Then Shotter's first game, we won 2-0. Shotter's last game, we lost 3-0. Then we drew 1-1. That is the definition of a mixed bag, right? Harry Vaughan's still good. Harry Vaughan's still good. He just needs some minutes. Ollie, that was a great game. A Swansea fan got hit on the head by a rock outside of. He got proper sparked. I wouldn't say that was a great game, Ollie. You need to know your facts. Yeah, like I say, Leo, with Malik Wilkes, I stand corrected. Eves! Joe takes a drink. He's about to pop off. Hey. Cheers. Senior seems to want it both ways by saying someone wants a smaller squad, and now he says having a big squad will be so important. There's a difference. By saying he wants a smaller squad, he means the squad he inherited with Shotter had 5 players that weren't registered. And that now is a smaller squad. What he's saying is now the 22-23 first team lads he's got, which is less than the 28 that Shota had, allow him to, around Christmas, know he's got quality in depth. I think that's the distinction he's trying to make. The quality in depth in the smaller squad than he inherited will be important. And most importantly, it's still his squad. It's his squad now. He's slowly whittled out the shit that Shota left, for want of a better word, in terms of players like Vale, Salah, Pelkas, players like that. And he's had his own, Racinia's had his own signings that didn't work as well, namely Malcolm. But he's kept the players around from Shota that he can see work. So, for example, like Figueiredo was another example of one that didn't work. But like Traore works, Tufan works, Seri works. Slater on a permanent was technically a Shota signing, although initially brought to the club on loan by McCann and then his incoming sanctioned by McCann before he was dismissed. What else was I going to say? And then Racina obviously saw something in Alaya and Cynic, even though they haven't necessarily had the minutes, and I can now see them being moved up. But the Shota signings that have worked, like Christie, like Tufan, Seri, Adama, players like that, he's made them work and they've been outstanding for us. They've been absolutely outstanding. Ollie says, we like to drink with Joe because Joe's our mate, and when we drink with Joe, he drinks it down in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. No, we're not doing that. I will take a swig, though. Hope Docs gets a new contract. I like Doc. I really, really like Doc, and I think he's a solid championship player. But I think if we're a Premier League club, I don't see where he has a place. Ardagul alone, if we go up, will absolutely not happen. And Pelkas overhated. Interesting. And out of the 4 contracted players, who would you want to offer a new deal? So, on this list that I've got here, Andy Smith has since been offered a new deal. Taking it, he's here for the long haul. Christie, I would. Connolly, I would. Coville, I would. Doherty, see where we finish in the league, then decide, and also see if we get Bird in January. Traore, I would. Harry Wood, I would. Ollie Green, I would. Raj Pallet, I would. Jim Sims, I would. Alfie Taylor, I would. In terms of loans, I'd like to keep the Lack permanently, but it won't happen unless we break the bank, and that's 20 million quid. Morton, again, I'd like to do the same, but probably won't happen. Vinagre, I don't see us keeping beyond this season. Bora, I can see staying. I can see Bora staying. Chug, down in one, no. Christie, I wouldn't, to be fair. I think we should get rid of Vinagre. We aren't going to buy him after his showing so far. Might as well get someone else in. Fair point. We definitely... Well, no. Fairlong is our long-term left-back solution. That's clear. But he needs games. And Racina bangs on about getting players minutes. and getting young players minutes. But he loans Brandon Fleming out, who's played 40-odd games, now 50-odd at Shrewsbury, and brings in Fairlong, who's played 9 on loan at Motherwell. That, to me, doesn't really make sense. I get he's a better future prospect than Fleming, sure. But if you want in minutes, Fleming's had more. We'll see. Should 100% prioritise renewing Adama. Made the same mistake with Pelkas that we did with Vale. Judged him out of position. Vinagre was class on the wing against Huddersfield. He should play them more. To me, there's no point in playing a winger, in playing a left back on the wing when we've got such great depth on the wing. Do I think we'll get any loans from the current squad back on a perm or an extra year loan? Delap, maybe. Morton, maybe. Twine, Burnley, I think will go down. So no, he will go back there. Why we loan out players like Fleming, I'll never know. Jeff says I don't think Fleming will come back. He is back at the minute. I saw him at an under-21s game the other week. Him and Greavesy dragged Aaron Connolly along with them. Connolly's always at them, which is fair, and he's always there with Greavesy, but he never looks like he wants to be there, and that's crucial. Right, let's move on. Shared shirts. Just to confuse you, I've picked a City player in a white kit today. Sam Ricketts, this side is Swansea on the left, and the City side is the right. Played for Swansea between 2004 and 2006, 105 appearances, 3 goals. Left Swansea to join us. 2006 to 2009, he was with us, part of our promotion-winning squad to the Premier League, 129 appearances, and scored once. Sam Ricketts, great, solid right back. Predicted team. In goal, Allsop. Right back, Louis Coyle. 2 centre-halves, Jones and McLaughlin. Greaves at left back. Midfield made up of Morton, Seri and Tufan. On the right, Twine. On the left, Philogene. And up top, Liam Delap. Bench. Ingram, Vinagre, Doherty, Syed Manesh, Vaughan, Lakilo, Smith, Christie. And there he is, Aaron Connolly as well. That's what I think will happen. Am I right in thinking that's unchanged from before the international break? Aliyah needs to move on in Jan, agreed. Philogene's a permanent Hull City player, Ollie. Contracted until 2026 with an option of an extra year, although Villa do have a £15 million buyback for him if we're in the same division. I think Lakilo will play over Twine. The senior said he looked good in training. Would you sign Connolly on a new contract? I do think it's worrying that we only signed him on a 1-year deal for him to prove himself. Connolly requested that to make it as motivation, so I think he will stay. They have an option on Connolly. Connolly has no option of an extra year. If you mean Philogene, that 15 million buyback is only activated when we're in the same division as Aston Villa. Score predictions, everyone. For me, I'm feeling good. We'll take a swig. It's nearly finished, this. Right. That's done. Score prediction. 2-0 win. 2-0 win. I'm feeling good, feeling great. Goal scorers, Philogene and Delap. Auto-generated user says 2-0 Swansea. Coxie says 2-1 to us. Ollie's changed his prediction for a third time. He said 1-0 us, then 2-0 us, then 3-1 Swansea. 2-0 Philogene and Tufan. Would be nice to see Tufan back on the score sheet. His work rate in the last game was phenomenal. Cool, good stuff, guys. I'm not going down there tomorrow. As Charlie says, it's a very long trip. Excuse me. It's a very, very, very long day. I've done it before. I'm not going down there tomorrow. Fair play to anyone who is. I wish you safe travels. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow straight after the game for the match reaction. And then we will be back live on Monday night for another preview. Previewing Rotherham at home. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.